Halle Berry, Brad Pitt, Charlize Theron, and Sylvester Stallone, just some of Hollywood's award-winning biggest stars that were once aspiring acting students. Now, their skills were crafted by our next guest, whose proteges range from Academy Award winners to Tony Award recipients. And this morning, we ask her what it takes to shape a Hollywood big shot. We're joined today by acting coach Ivana Chubbuck, who's in town, of course, to coach our very own stars here on ABS-CBN. So thank you so much for being on the show.
Absolutely. And this is for you, just so you know.
Okay.
It's about power, being empowered, and that's the whole, I espouse through the arts how to find your power, how to become empowered by virtue of your hurt, your pain, your traumas, your insecurities, your fears, to be embraced as opposed to self-destruct with that. And so that is, you said, what does it take to become like a major player? And what it takes to become a major player in any world, because I have schools, and my book has been translated in languages all over the world, is that what it takes is the understanding of work ethic, education, and taking risks, and seeing life from a point of view. There's a sign for you, by the way.
Thank you.
Taking the risk of like looking at information of what everybody goes through, which is life's pain. Nobody can escape it. It happens. You have joy. You also have things that happen: deaths, a loss, information of betrayals, fears that come from childhood issues, insecurities that just everybody has. And so, how do we take this from the character's point of view? Because I work with directors and writers too, and also from their point of view. How do we take the issues that usually make people self-destructing, become defeated by them, and use the very same information to fuel, because it's a very powerful fuel, to fuel our ability to overcome and win, and therefore find actual ultimate catharsis and growth and change and evolvement.
So really just channeling that potentially negative energy into something really positive.
Yeah.
That sounds like what the premise here. But I want to go back a little bit. I wanted to talk about all of the amazing people that you've worked with. I am sure the personalities have ranged, you know, from maybe the more humble to the little bit more diva. How do you work with a different type of actor? I mean, again, these are people that, you know, really have to commit to this type of craft, right? It's not easy.
They check the diva at the door. I mean, if they're divas, I don't know about it, because there's something about putting your life, because they have to talk. Halle Berry once said to me, she said, I tell you more than I tell my therapist, because she knows we're going to create with this information, and we're going to take the same things that someone may complain about in their therapy as something that is beautiful paints to create the canvas of our acting, to explore a gorgeous end result, and so they don't. People just they show up in their sweats. There's no makeup. Sometimes we have the paparazzi outside the door.
But you haven't any problem students, is what you're saying. I think every teacher has some of those problem students, but you've never had that.
I have more. The issue is not, if you're talking about stars, I have more issues of people that aren't stars, their problem. And that's why they're not stars, because there's a sense of humility I think that all people need to have in success. I think that humbleness is a good thing. I think ego is a destroyer. Ego destroys. Like, if you make ego be a priority, you're going to fail, because ego makes bad decisions. And so there's, in terms of the people that, like, say, when Charlize first came to me, but she had done nothing, she had no money, she was living with 8 people in a house and barely being able to get by, was somebody that was very humble, and so it was that humility that made her very open to the possibility of using this, that, and the other thing that most people would be, no, I can't go there, or no, I'm better than that. She didn't have any of that. And that created an environment of openness and accessibility to being informed.
Well, as it is in LA, you know, where I'm from originally, as well as here, there are a lot of there's a lot of raw talent. You know, everyone, you can talk to someone and everyone kind of has this aspiration to be an actor. Can anyone be an actor, or do you have to really be born with it? Can you train anyone?
Well, I don't know if there's like a thing in the genetic code that says actor in it, or I think it's more about somebody who is willing to and wants to express themselves and using the truth of who they really are and not being afraid of their darkness. They're not being afraid of the things that make them, that usually makes other people feel ashamed, are really things that you should be proud of and embrace. These are the things that make artistic end results. And so a real artist, so it's not like I'm a born talented actress, it's the artistic quotient. The artistic quotient is I'm willing to take chances, I'm willing to take risks. Boundaries are meant to be crossed. I'm going to push the envelope and do things that that other people would be too terrified to do. Fear stops progress. Fear stops progress in all fields and in all relationships. If you're fearful, you're not going to find love. If you're fearful, you're not going to find the career path that can be successful for you. So it's not, so much of this is not really driven by like innate talent, because innate talent, sometimes someone to be innately talented will never make it because their fear is so profound that it stops them from actually exploring the possibilities of the true nature of their talent. And so I've seen people who don't have the raw talent who are some of the best actors and writers and directors, all of the above, and to challenge our fear and to see fear as an opportunity to be courageous.
Can you name any names in that, or is that a secret between some people that no, some people that didn't have as much of the raw talent that you thought in the beginning, but ended up flourishing in the industry? I don't know if you can actually name some names.
Well, it's because the ultimate end result is so much talent and artistry that I don't even remember that was the issue from the very beginning. It's just the idea of like, again, there's no genetic, reality.
Recipe for it, yeah.
It's not part of our genetics, but what it is like if you live life and as opposed to being closed down by life circumstances, and you're open to be curious. Curious is a great word. I actually got a text from Sylvester Stallone on the plane ride over to the Philippines, who was saying that I'm looking forward to my being curious on my next project. He's doing another Rambo. And so he was talking about his curiosity and exploring his curiosity. And so I think that's a great word.
And that actually has given a lot of these actors that we've seen growing up just, again, have lasting power. People like Sylvester Stallone, you know,
and he will be
Rambo.
Rambo for the 80th time. But the thing is that it's about, this particular one is about his really trying to deal with his PTSD and like how to ultimately, try to not let it defeat him because it's just become so profound, PTSD. And
you mentioned, again, you have schools throughout the world, and of course you're here in the Philippines. Is there like a difference between teaching the students here versus, in other countries? Is there, or are pretty much students have the similarities that you can share?
Well, I can share this, the human equation. There's one of the things that I studied in college, well, my basic field of study was behavioral science, psychology, and cultural anthropology. And what I came to find, that's the history of like being a human being and how cultures are created, is that no matter which country I've been to, whether it's in Asia, whether it's been in South America, whether it's been in the Scandinavian countries, Russia, Israel, it's like we're talking about very, very different cultures, but everybody has the same issues. Issues with their mates, issues with their parents, issues with abandonment, issues of feeling not good enough, issues of feeling like you're alone in the world, and on and on and on and on. And so the idea is that I can talk about the bottom line human equation, and that will relate to every single person. So is there differences? No. What the difference is in culture. How we manifest our needs is what creates culture. What is our needs is the science of of psychology and science of behavior. It is the same world around. And the curious thing for me is that I am. I keep waiting for that to be different. So each culture that I will check out, I go, wait, this is going to be different. Like when I went to Japan for the first time, this is going to be different. But it wasn't at all. And even though in that particular culture, they're told it's dishonorable to actually show your emotions, and of course acting is all about showing it. They were so available to it because it's still there, it doesn't not exist, that I felt like it was like a raw melon, just like boop, and it just cracked open in the most gorgeous way. And the people were like so like loving, because there's something about having the freedom to be able to expose and explore and reveal emotions that you've been told your whole life you're not supposed to do.
Like a repression
free.
Almost.
It's refreshing. It's like and it's also free. Freedom is a beautiful thing, and a true artist allows us to become more free by virtue of their example.
Okay, very good. Very interesting insights from all of your experiences. Thank you so much for coming on the show
Well, thank
and
you
telling
for
us about
having
it.
me.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing who you develop next in the world of
the clay.
Thank you so much, Ivana Chubbuck there, acting coach extraordinaire. Coming right up, we get a preview of the Sandbox Collective's latest stage play, Lungs. Actors Jake Cuenca and Saf Jose joins us when Early Edition returns. Stay with us.